If you wanna draw glass and you don't know how, just come on down to Light and Optic now, yeah!
Hey guys, so if you're wondering how to draw glass, then you've come to the right place. I'm Brandon, and let's talk about the optics of glass. So one of the most important things to keep in mind when you're looking at glass is that you're rarely actually seeing the glass itself, but rather you're usually seeing the distortions, reflections, and refractions that are caused by the glass. And you also see any wear and tear that may be on the glass as well. So I'll mainly be talking about soda lime glass, which is often used for windows and bottles and some other simple things like that. And to specify what I'll be talking about even more, I'm mostly going to be speaking about the optics of windows, which is made of float glass. So next I'd like to talk about the reflectivity of glass. Basically what you need to know is that when viewing the glass at a sharp angle, it will appear more similar to the objects that they're reflecting. And when looking directly into the glass, the reflection will lose a lot of contrast due to the light being lost into the room through the glass. And so the reflection will appear much less contrasty compared to the original object. Now I have some real-life examples of this. This image is a perfect example because, as you can see around here, where the angle of the light is sharp, we're seeing a much brighter image, while here the image is much less contrasty and darker because we're losing a lot of light into the room. Now I'm going to diagram this out. This is the room, and these are the window panes. What's happening is here the light is able to reflect at a sharp angle and come into our eye pretty fully, allowing us to see the image fairly unaltered. While on the other hand, when light's coming in here at this angle, we're losing a lot of it into the room. And so not a lot of the light can get back into our eye. Similarly, we want to keep in mind the differences between standing in dark and looking out into light, or vice versa. So if we're standing in the light and looking into a dark room, chances are there will be a lot of reflections on the glass. Now a lot of the light will also pass in through the room, illuminating the objects inside, but there is still a huge amount of reflectivity. Now if we're standing in the dark and looking out into the light, there may still be some reflections inside, but they'll be negligible compared to the amount of light that we'll have coming from the outside. Two real-world examples of this are seen here, where this woman is looking into a dark room while she's standing outside in the light. It's very difficult for her to see because she's in the light and the room is dark, allowing for there to be a high amount of reflectivity. While if we look at this fish tank, we're standing in the dark and it is brighter, so there's significantly fewer reflections. In fact, I can't really even see any. Now also, the transparency of the glass is important to keep in mind. As we can see in this image, because of the darkness that's on the inside and the harsh lights that are on the outside, we can see that it's hard to actually see anywhere that's inside the light in areas like this. But in areas where the object that's being reflected is in shadow, it's much easier to see inside of the darkness. This is because the areas in shadow allow the glass to the reflectivity of it. And you can see a number of the objects inside fairly clearly. It's also important to think about what's behind and around the glass object, and also how the glass object is distorting that environment. And so another important thing to keep in mind when trying to render glass is what sort of environment it's in. So you want to think about if it would be somewhere that would receive a lot of watermarks, would need to receive cleaning, would be grungy or break or even have scratches, and adding any of these effects would help add to the realism of your rendering. And with that, I'll be concluding my presentation. So thank you for listening.